Oh God, I wish I could get this toothache to go away. You know, there's nothing worse than a really bad toothache. Well, 9/11 was pretty bad, but toothache, close second. And I already know what you're gonna say. Johnny, just go to the dentist. Well, I can't. To tell you the truth, I'm a little scared. Going to the dentist just feels so invasive, and not to mention the fact that they have the audacity to finger around your mouth for an hour and then not call you back for 6 months. Come on, girl. I thought we had a good thing going. But I can't keep going on like this. I think I need to get some exposure therapy to get me over my little fear. And what better way to do that than going down the deep, dark rabbit hole known as Tubi. Now, if we type dentist into Tubi, our first result is, well, look at that. It's a movie called The Dentist. Couldn't get more on the nose than that. Let's just hope it's not a horror movie. It's a horror movie. The Dentist is a 1996 American slasher film directed by Brian Yuzna, director of one of my personal favorite films, Society.
How do you like your tea? Cream? Sugar? Or do you want me to pee in it?
Now this movie looks a little spooky, but I might have to risk a sleepless night to get over my dentophobia, if that's a real word. But before we get into watching the movie, I want to know if you've ever had any negative experiences with the dentist. Please tell me in the comments down below. I'm very interested. Me personally, my worst experience with the dentist was, well, it's pretty embarrassing. See, my dentist was a very attractive woman, and you know how up close and personal these appointments get. She was right in my face, and she smelled good, and I feel terrible and disgusted, but it's just a part of nature, you know? Sure enough, we both looked down, and I'd pissed myself.
The Dentist.
There now. Better?
In the opening scene, we meet our main antagonist, Dr. Alan Finestone, who is pretending to perform a dental checkup in an all-white room. Good news, guys, the movie just started and we already caught the bad guy. What are you grabbing there, buddy? I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way now. The guy who plays Alan, Corbin Burnson, is awesome. He gives this role 110% and absolutely kills it as a creepy dentist. Multiple scenes of him being too close to people's faces. Oh, it's so good.
I believe there's a story to be told on every corner.
Alright. While in this room, Alan starts to reminisce about all the things he had in his life before he turned to the dark side. He was a successful dentist with a beautiful wife and a beautiful home. If that's what you call beautiful, then here's to you. Looks more like something Dr. Seuss would dream up during a ketamine trip, but what do I know? So Alan may be a successful dentist, but he's got some big problems coming down the pipeline. For starters, he gets a call from the IRS saying that he hasn't been paying his taxes, which is never a good thing. And to make matters worse, Alan finds out that his wife, Brooke, is cheating on him with the pool boy, Brad. Is it still called a pool boy when it's a big, handsome gentleman like this? That feels a little derogatory. Oh, God. Oh, his dirty hands, and she's sucking on his fingers. And to make matters even worse, today is Alan and Brooke's anniversary. They already made plans to go out to dinner tonight at 7. And this is how I know I'm getting older, cause dinner at 7 sounds terrible. Why not dinner at 5, be home by 7, in bed by 7:30, 3 to 5 minutes of lovemaking, then asleep by 7:45. Now that's a date. So Alan catches Brooke giving Brad a good old-fashioned blowjob, which is really gross in my opinion. Not the actual act, but this dude's been out working in the sun all morning. He's sweaty and covered in grease. You just know he's all grimy down there. Brooke, honey, you're gonna want to brush your teeth after this. Alan watches and has a fantasy about forcing Brooke to bite Brad's wiener off at gunpoint, which is a nightmare to any man in the world. It's one of the main reasons why I don't do oral sex. The other main reason being that I don't get offered it very often. But instead of giving Brad an involuntary vasectomy, Alan just follows him to his next job, the neighbor Paula's house. I like this jazzercise mullet lady. I hope she doesn't die. She's probably gonna die. That's why I can't catch feelings for people, man. They all end up getting killed by their dentist. Right as soon as I start falling in love with them, the dentist shows up. Alan goes to kill Brad, but finds out that he's also sleeping with Paula. What the hell is going on with this guy? He must have a monster dick or something, because he's banging every broad in the neighborhood. Alan sits down against the fence to process what he just saw and is attacked by Paula's dog, unfortunately leading to the dog's demise. As if today couldn't get any worse. Oh no, the day got worse! Oh, God! Now the dog's dead! We then go to Dr. Finestone's office, which is full of patients waiting to be seen because Alan's too busy with this whole fantasizing about killing his wife thing. We've all been there, haven't we? I'm not even married and I want to kill the bitch. I can't say that. So Alan finally gets to his office and his arm is mysteriously fine. No blood or anything. Which is weird considering that he was just attacked by a Rottweiler. And another thing, how the hell did you not get caught? Were Paula and Brad too busy getting busy that they didn't hear you shoot the damn dog? Oh, they're friends. And they're both fucking the pool boy? They're cave sisters? Lucky pool boy, man, honestly. This is a great PSA why you become a pool boy and not a dentist. One of the people in the lobby is a teenager named Sarah, who's been waiting for the past 2 years to get her braces taken off.
Oh, I know, no more braces, thank God. And tonight I'm gonna have this really cool party.
You're having a getting my braces off party? You fucking loser. Guys, look, I can chew regular food now. But no matter how excited she is, she's gonna have to wait a little bit longer because the first patient of the day is this young boy named Jody having his first ever visit. Oh, you're a little boy named Jody, huh? You're more like a little girl, aren't you? You like pink? You like unicorns and pink, Jody? You know that's a girl's name, right? Now, one of the best parts of this movie, from a horror perspective, are the actual teeth visuals. Like this first scene with the up-close angles and the sound of scraping teeth. Oh, I hate it. I was literally wiggling in my seat. Ugh. Oh, I don't like this. So old Alan here starts thinking about his wife and scraping harder and harder until he ends up stabbing the boy in the mouth. And it made me jump. It got a genuine reaction out of me.
What did you do? He's bleeding!
Oh no! And the best part is that his assistant Jessica asks him what happened, and he starts blaming it on the boy for not sitting still. This guy is a master gaslighter. To calm down, Alan goes to his office and starts taking some kind of pill, and I'm not sure what happened, but there's like this coughing, gagging sound effect that gets cut off, and it really caught me off guard.
Oh my God, Alan!
What was this short cough? Alan calls his wife and tells her that he's gonna have to work late, so she might as well just come by the office and they can leave from there.
I was just sitting here.
Sorry, babe, I don't mean to bother you at lunchtime. I just stabbed a kid in the mouth. It's bad. Then Alan goes to work on April Rain, a model managed by Steve Landers, played by Mark Ruffalo. So I'm just gonna call him Mark Ruffalo from now on, if that's okay with you guys. Alan finds a cavity that he wants to fill immediately, so he gives April some nitrous oxide and dismisses his assistant Karen so he can be alone with her. Which is really creepy. And speaking of creepy, Mark Ruffalo's out in the lobby flirting with Brace's girl, asking her if she's ever thought about being a model. Mark, sit down. You're gonna ruin your career.
You a model? You look like a model. Have you ever done?
Isn't this girl like 16?
They gotta have the walk.
Mark Ruffalo, relax.
Try.
This is a teenager. Back at Paula's house, Detective Gibbs is investigating the shooting of the dog, and apparently, Alan's gun had a little bit more kick than I originally thought. Is this the dog? Whoa, that dog's fucking eviscerated. He shot it with like a pistol. That thing's got brain splattered all over the concrete. Gibbs finds the bullet embedded in the house and has it sent off to be tested.
To the lab, check out the neighbors. Cop stuff, huh?
Yeah, cop stuff. So we don't have to write any more dialogue. While working on April, Alan starts thinking about his wife again, and he hallucinates April as Brooke. And while she's unconscious, Alan removes her pantyhose and proceeds to grope her, which is a really not cool thing to do. April wakes up in the middle of it and is confused and doesn't know what's going on. Alan starts freaking out and takes April back to her manager and says that she just needs some fresh air. She'll come to, but he does keep the pantyhose because he's a creep. Been a big morning for Dr. Allen. You're getting audited by the IRS, you find your wife cheating on you on your anniversary, you shoot the neighbor's dog, you stab a kid in the mouth, and you assault an unconscious patient. I wouldn't be buying any lottery tickets if I were you. You're a real unlucky bastard. His assistant Jessica goes and cleans up the room and finds April's pantyhose stuffed underneath the table, and she goes to show them to her fellow assistant Karen.
Maybe they fell out of her purse. Yeah, right, and I can make flames shoot out of my ass.
You can? That's a pretty cool talent. I can clap with one hand. So the IRS agent, Marvin Goldblum, shows up to Alan's office and threatens to turn him in if he doesn't do free dental work for him right now. Whoa, I know the IRS were terrible people, but they don't offer dental insurance? Now that's a new low. But right as Alan is about to start working, Mark Ruffalo busts back in the office and punches him in the face for assaulting April. Good man, Mark Ruffalo. I've always liked that guy. Alan closes the office early and sends everyone home for the day, forcing Sarah to wait just one more night to get her braces taken off. We watch as Brooke gets ready for their dinner date, and Alan lays out a bunch of dental tools, including one that's just like a big pointy rock.
Okay, what does that do? That was just like a chunk of obsidian. What do you use that for, Doc?
Brooke shows up to the office, and I just have to say how awesome this dress is. It really sucks she's about to die. So I forgot to mention this earlier, but every room in Alan's office has a theme. Like the room where he stabbed the boy in the mouth, that was the rainforest room. Well, his newest room is an opera house, complete with soprano singing. Cause nothing says relax, sir, like high-pitched screeching noises. Again, I just have to say how awesome Corbin Burnson is in this movie. In this scene in particular, he's standing off to the side or below the camera and acting in this scene solely through his hand. It's some really stellar stuff. So Alan wants Brooke to be the first person to sit in the new chair, and she doesn't find that creepy at all and just goes along with it. That's a good wife. Wait, no, she's about to die. Bad wife! Once she sits down, Alan ties her neck to the back of the chair, and she doesn't fight at all. Like, come on, girl, do you want to die?
You wouldn't want me to cut out your tongue, would you?
No, I wouldn't like that very much. You're not even gonna give her the sunglasses?
Alan pumps her full of nitrous oxide and starts to remove her teeth one by one, and this is genuinely one of the most effective scenes I've ever seen in a horror movie, at least for me. I was literally squirming in my seat during this part. Just watch.
Oh no. Oh. Oh.
After removing all of her teeth and cutting out her tongue, Alan takes Brooke back home and lays her down on the bed. He talks about how much he loves her and how no one will ever come between them again. What a good man. He still loves her even though she doesn't have any teeth. He's a better man than me. If my wife lost all her teeth, I'd be looking for a divorce attorney. The next day, Alan ties Brooke up outside and makes it look like she's sleeping while Brad cleans the pool. Then Detective Gibbs and his partner come to ask Alan a few questions about the shooting the other night as they've been interviewing everyone in the neighborhood.
You're a dentist, right?
Yes.
It's a little like a cop. A necessary evil.
Okay. What's your badge number? Who's your supervisor?
The cops leave, and we see that Alan has laid out pills, a kitchen knife, and baby food, I think? Which really confused me at first, but it has since occurred to me that it's probably because he's feeding it to his toothless wife. Again, what a good guy. While Brad is cleaning out the pool, he finds a tongue. A human tongue. Brooke's human tongue. which is really bad for the filtration system. Good thing he caught it first. He goes to tell Brooke about the tongue and discovers that she has been brutally mutilated. Well, brutal's not the right word. Let's go with budget-friendly. Alan then sneaks up behind Brad and starts stabbing him, which seems like a pretty bad time considering that the cops were just outside, but hey, what do I know? I've never killed a guy.
The cops are probably still outside. They're probably at the neighbor's house. You couldn't have waited to do this? Hey, you're gonna want that. That's a murder weapon. You're not gonna want to leave that lying around.
And after committing this heinous crime, Alan just goes back to work like nothing happened. And guess who his first patient of the day is? No, not you, Sarah. Sit back down. It's Paula. Remember Paula? The cool jazzercise mullet lady? I like Paula. I like Paula a lot. Paula tells Alan that she believes her ex killed the dog, which is really weird in my opinion. I would be pointing fingers at the guy who was at your house acting suspicious the morning the dog was shot, but what do I know? I failed detective school. Paula then starts talking about the pool boy and how good he's been lately, alluding to their sexual relationship. Ugh, can't you keep that to yourself, girl? I'm about to go rooting around in your mouth. I don't want to know what's been in there.
How's he been working out for you?
Well, actually, I just killed him.
And after hearing this, Alan starts going to town on her molars, like absolutely grinding those little bastards down, like a gardener who fell asleep on a John Deere. And again, it's super effective. I was tensing up so hard during the scene that my toes were starting to cramp.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god.
Like, this was genuinely horrifying. The idea of a dentist just holding the drill down to your molars, I hate it. But good on her for acting like a champ. She barely even wiggled.
Lady, just raise the hand. That's what my dentist tells me. Just go, and they stop. Why don't you just, and he'll stop.
Jessica stops Alan from butchering this poor woman's teeth and pulls him to the side to ask what the hell he's doing in there. They start fighting, going back and forth about who knows best, and then Karen comes in and says that Marvin Goldblum's on his way and he wants to be seen immediately. Those damn leeches, what does IRS even stand for? I'm really stupid? No, not me, not I'm really, they're really, it's like if they were saying it, they would be saying, shut up, you just shut up. Jessica takes this opportunity to go back in the room and tell Paula that she should leave and find a new dentist. Good girl, Jessica, I've always liked you. Alan comes back pissed that Paula is gone, so he fires Jessica on the spot. But Jessica has a plan. She pulls out April's pantyhose and tells Alan that she knows what he did to that poor girl.
That woman yesterday, the one that carried out of here, what did you do to her?
Nothing.
That's convincing. Nothing. What? It's like an LA Noire protagonist.
Jessica says that she doesn't care if she's fired because she's reporting Alan to the Dental Association and to the police. But right as she's about to leave, Alan grabs the pantyhose and starts strangling her to death. Which is why you never reveal your hand too early. You could have just kept this evidence to yourself, apologize for being a bad employee, then dip and call the police. But you just couldn't do that, could you?
Oh, I liked her. She seemed cool. I liked her 90s curly hair. It was cute. Like Elaine from Seinfeld. Hey, turn the camera. Stop filming it in portrait mode.
At the police station, Gibbs gets the analysis back on the bullet and it matches a firearm registered to one Mr. Dr. Alan Finestone. Back at Finestone's office, Sarah is finally about to be seen, but right as she gets up, Marvin Goldblum jumps in and cuts in front of her, saying that if he isn't seen immediately, then he'll start the audit right here and right now. Poor Sarah, this girl just wants to smile without feeling embarrassed. Also, Marvin holds on to Sarah's hand for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Do we start the audit now?
Look, Mr. Goldblum.
Let go of her hand. Let go of her. Stop touching this girl.
You know, it's really funny to me that this movie is about a deranged dentist who mutilated his wife's face, shot the neighbor's dog, stabbed a kid in the roof of the mouth, and assaulted an unconscious patient, but somehow the IRS still comes off as the bad guy. So while sedating Marvin, there's this really bad editing mistake that I don't know how anyone missed. One shot, Alan doesn't have anything on, cut away for 2 seconds, cut back, Alan mysteriously has glasses and a mask on just to take them off immediately. I know for a fact that someone saw the final cut of this movie at the screening and went, Alan sedates Marvin and puts this vice in his mouth and cranks it until he breaks his jaw and then starts drilling into his tongue. It's a really good effect in my opinion. Definitely a Brian Usna thing.
Oh, no, I don't like this at all. Why do you even have that tool?
While all this are going on, the cops are investigating Alan's house and find blood dripping in the front yard. Where the hell is that coming from? Did you kill Brad and leave him on the roof? This seems like the writers just needed a reason to get the cops in the house, so they went, look, blood. Anyways, they see the blood, which is what we call in the industry probable cause. They go in the backyard and find Brad dead, and for some reason they decide to split up, which is literally never a good idea. I don't care if it's killer dentists or bears or bees or back alley orgies, just stay together, guys. Gibbs goes to investigate the house, and while in there he tastes the baby food for some reason. Must have been a hungry boy. Then Gibbs finds Brooke tied to the bed with her face completely disfigured. The police secure Alan's home as a crime scene and then head to his office to arrest him. Back at the office, Alan tells Karen that he had to fire Jessica because she was underperforming. Confused, Karen starts to look around the office and finds Jessica's purse stuffed in a closet.
Jessica?
Pull out that MasterCard while you got it. She's not gonna be needing the money, you take it.
Karen then goes back to the operating room to confront Alan and discovers Marvin bleeding out and all disfigured.
It's horrible, isn't it? The discoloration. The periodontal deterioration.
No, I think it's the broken jaw that's the problem.
Karen makes a run for it, but Alan catches her and slams her head into the wall, and I don't want to laugh, but she makes a pretty funny noise. While she's knocked out, Alan takes a needle full of air and injects it into her brain, causing her to have a stroke and die. And I know it's not the most visually satisfying kill ever, but it's really brutal and kind of terrifying. And there's only one patient left for the day. It's finally time for Sarah to get those braces taken off. And I do want to mention really quick how well they built up to this scene. She's been waiting 2 days to get these damned braces taken off, and now that she's about to, she's all alone with her deranged dentist who's on a killing spree. It's pretty insane. Now, while watching Sarah get her braces taken off, it suddenly occurred to me that I have no idea how braces work. How do they stay on? How do they straighten teeth? It might as well be magic to me. I thought dentists just put braces on the nerdy kids so we all knew who to bully in school. The movie's been building up to it and it's finally happened. Sarah is finally braces free. But after taking off her braces, Alan starts to hallucinate that Sarah's teeth are rotting out and it sends him into a spiral.
He's not gonna kill her because she took care of her teeth. Oh, fuck.
Alan tries to shoot Sarah, but she quickly swings the overhead light into his face and makes a run for it, biting his arm so she can escape.
Ah, the teeth were his demise. The teeth were his muse, and now they are his demise.
We then get a really fun cat and mouse sequence of Sarah hiding in different rooms in the office while Alan hunts her down. It's really fun. I don't know why she wouldn't just go for the front door and make a run for it, but that's one of those problems that a lot of horror movies have, so I'm gonna let it slide.
Can't hide! Not from your dentist!
I've been hiding from my dentist for 10 years. How do you think I lost this tooth?
Sarah makes it to the opera room, but is cornered by Alan. Nowhere to go. This is the final stop. And again, Corbin's performance in this final scene is amazing. His final monologue here is just so good. Right as Alan is about to finish Sarah off, she starts begging for her life. She says that she'll stop eating candy, she'll floss after every meal, she'll brush 3 times a day. And this begging is enough for Alan to let her go. And I know, it's stupid, it's idiotic even, but I really like this element. I just love the way that she gets away is by listening to her dentist. All he wanted was to be heard, to be respected. It's a pretty cool satire on dental hygienics, in my opinion. The police finally show up to Alan's office and find Sarah crying all alone in the opera room. They question Sarah about Alan's whereabouts, but she says that she has no idea where he went. That's when Alan's receptionist, Candy, chimes in and says that he teaches a dental class at a local university in the evenings, which we haven't heard about at all until right now, but that's cool, whatever. While teaching his class, Alan brandishes his firearm and forces his students at gunpoint to extract all of their respective patients' teeth, which would have been such a cool and sickening visual, but right as they're about to start ripping molars, the cops bust in. Alan takes a hostage and makes her run for it, but then leaves the hostage behind, which I've never got in movies like this. I mean, you're already catching a few murder charges, let's add kidnapping to the list. While chasing Alan, there's this really funny scene where Detective Gibbs just like shoves a teacher to the ground, even though he had like plenty of room to go around her.
Out of the way!
There was so much room to run around her.
Alan runs through the university and finds his way into the auditorium where he finds a young woman singing an opera song. He approaches her and touches the woman on the shoulder, but when she turns around, she's got the face of his disfigured wife. Alan falls to the ground and is finally disarmed, crying as he's haunted by the visuals of his wife's face and the sound of her laughter. Then at the end, we see Alan where we saw him in the beginning, an all-white room, presumably a mental hospital. He goes on about what pushed him to do the deranged things that he did, but he's interrupted by guards who take him to a dental operating room against his will. And in that operating room, he starts to get worked on by his toothless wife. And I think that this scene's all in his head or whatever, but it's a little too artsy-fartsy for my liking. And just like that, we get the credits. And with the roll of the credits, it brings along the end of the movie. That's it for The Dentist, a movie that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. I've been trying to talk about, like, really bad movies lately, but this was a pleasant surprise. It's almost annoying how decent it is, because there's nothing really funny to talk about. And for the final time, claps in chat for Corbin Burnson. Before I started this movie, I'd heard the name and seen his face a few times, but I didn't really have any opinions on him. But after finishing this movie, he has asserted himself as one of my favorite villain performances I've ever seen, as far as cheesy horror movies go. And it wasn't just him, everyone did a pretty good job. Hell, even that Mark Ruffalo guy. I see big things in the future for that fella. Now, my biggest problem with this movie is that everything happens so fast. Alan goes from this relatively normal dentist to a vicious murderer in the span of one day. I think this movie would have worked better if we added like 15 minutes to the runtime and gave it weeks to build up. Like, we start the movie with Alan already feeling a little on the edge, just the normal stress of everyday life and whatnot. Then the IRS calls and we have a chance to sit and breathe with that for a moment. We watch Alan slowly tinker in his brain about what he's gonna do. Then the next week or so, he finds out his wife's cheating on him and we add another layer to his insanity. You can do all the same plot points, shooting the dog, stabbing the kid, assaulting the unconscious patient, but give it time to build. We want to watch the slow descension into madness. Imagine Imagine, for example, if Breaking Bad was all done in one season. We watch as Walter White goes from mild-mannered chemistry teacher to the biggest drug kingpin in the state in the span of like 8 episodes. It just doesn't work the same way. The reason that Breaking Bad is so effective is the slow boil. It's so slow that stuff starts to make sense. Of course he's selling drugs. He's got a family to take care of. Over the course of 5.5 seasons of Breaking Bad, you see where Walter White comes from. You may not agree with everything he does. Well, you shouldn't agree with everything he does, but it makes sense. And I think that a little bit of that could really work with this movie. And with that, I think that's all I have for today. If you stuck around to the end of the video, then thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, it means more than you will ever know. Drop a like if you'd like. Comment down below about your experiences with the dentist. And if you want to see more bad movie reviews, then subscribe. As a matter of fact, there's a sequel to this movie that I really wouldn't mind watching. And you know what? After watching this movie, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm gonna call the dentist right now and make my first appointment. I don't have insurance. So now that I've been going back to the dentist for a while, I actually kind of find it relaxing. I found this really neat trick on the internet that's helped me calm down a little bit. It's called taking a Xanax about an hour before you go in. Oh, it's the best! And if you really want to relax, then schedule your appointment for 11:30, right before lunch. Then you can fall asleep to their tummy sounds. Ah, it's like listening to the ocean.